Alright, now we're going to look at the hardware setup for this, and we're going to change it up a little bit to make it more interesting. I have this multiple RGB LED. Okay, so it's got 4 little leads. The 4 little leads are for something. We'll find out here in a second. And I wanted to do this first. Like if I type in 1 and it spits out a 49, as a student, I would probably ask a question. And to dispel that question right away, what you need to do is go type in serial data keyboard ASCII chart. Okay, serial data keyboard ASCII chart. And then you get this really nerdy chart that you can pop up and put on your fridge, and everybody would be like, whoa, what the heck does this mean? So we got decimal, and you can see the 1 is actually 49 and 2 is 50. That's why you're seeing a 49 and 50, not a 1 and a 2, because really in decimal format, 1 and 2 on the keyboard are 49 and 50. Alright, just in case you want to know what the other codes are too, and you can code this kind of in reverse to say, hey, anytime I see a tab, I can do it this way as a decimal 9. We'll get more into that later, but for right now, 1 and 2, 49 and 50. Okay, let's go back to our Arduino cam. So this is my other Arduino unit. The other one's an R3. This one's an older version. For this stuff, there's no difference at all. I just had the other one in my backpack, and this one I have in my lab, and we're going to use it because I'm too lazy to go upstairs with my backpack. This right here, 22 ohm resistor. Again, you don't have to use this, but this is the lowest one I have it on hand right now. And I just wanted to show you a trick. A lot of times when I use resistors on breadboards, I don't like leads this long. So what I do is I do one of these little numbers right here. Okay? And then I clip it so they're like this. Now it doesn't take so much room inside the breadboard. I can bridge just a couple gaps and keep it organized like that. See? Cool stuff. Simple yet powerful. Okay, so here's the LED. Now since there are 4, which one's which? In this case, the longest lead is negative. So Kathy's always negative. Cathode negative. That one right there. That's different because all other LEDs, the longest pin is positive. Okay, what I'm going to do is just segregate the pins. Not me being racist or any weird stuff like that, so don't troll me saying, hey, you shouldn't segregate the pins. So, like that. So negative 1 goes on one side, positive goes on this other. Okay, don't forget our code is only supportive of 2 pins on our Arduino unit right now. That's pin what? 2 and 3. And actually our code only supports one of them turning on and off. So we'll start out with this side and put a resistor in place. One thing you got to know about multiple RGB LEDs, and all LEDs is the red LED is very acceptable to current. So it can't handle a whole lot of current. That's why you see some of the older VCRs and everything else has the red LED. Well, that's a warning light too in some cases, but you'll see a lot of toys and stuff have red LEDs in them. It's because red LEDs don't have to have a whole lot of power to light them. So you might wonder why that is, and there you go. Red LEDs you can have very low power and still light one of those little guys. I'm just going to run a jumper from pin 2 to this. So Arduino unit to pin 2. So this to resistor, resistor to pin, or the first leg on the LED. It doesn't matter which one, because if you end up with blue or red, doesn't really matter. Now, let's run a jumper across this. Just like that. Let's throw a little guy out there. Anytime I play with a breadboard, it reminds me of playing Battleship as a kid. Okay, then we need a negative wire to run to the Arduino unit. I'll run that here to here. Ooh, light pops on. That's always a good sign, right? That means my last command was what? 1. Okay, so let's go over here, hit the serial monitor, and hit 2 to see what happens. Yay, it works. So 1, 2. Now, this is where I start, issuing some homework, because what if you wanted to code the rest of these, right? Let's say you wanted RGB all to light up. Well, don't forget that's just one, and you can go like this. Let's say just without moving the resistor, I'm just going to go like this. 1 on the keyboard. So there's the green one is in the center, and the blue one is at the very end. And don't forget, you can mix RGB values to become other colors too. So you should take the time to look at this very basic example of code and code LED pin 2 on and off. Okay? And then you should challenge yourself and say, well, what if I add another constant up here and say LED pin 3? Then you'd have all values of RGB, and then you can trigger them on and off using serial data. So that's why I didn't complete any more of this, because really, as an instructor by nature, that's what I do, is try to push you off the edge, and here's some code, add to it, be more creative, and see what you can do. Then later we could look at maybe how could we mix values of RGB to get very weird colors. So that's in the future. But for right now, there's serial data. Have fun with it, and let's move on to the next chapter after you're done. Enjoy.